we have the amazing Sara Moylan on the show. We're so excited to talk to you, Sara. Hi, welcome. How are you?
I'm so excited to be here. Also, Monica, thank you so much. I think we as women and mom entrepreneurs are always facing challenges, right? The list is so long, but right now we're just doing a lot of cleanup from just, things that we recognize that weren't working in the past. I think my husband and I have run the company together up to a certain point. We wanted to really find some ex people to help us take it to the next level. And I think what we're working on right now is really prioritizing what the needs are and then taking away all the stuff that might be distracting us from focusing on those needs.
Oh gosh, I hear you and receive you. I think entrepreneurship is so tough, and so much of it is about being nimble and learning and growing and understanding that we often trip up, and we've got to just keep falling forward.
Yeah, we have a little motto in the office. It's like everyone, like, don't be afraid of failure. If you're going to fail, just fail at 100 miles an hour. Like, just do it, get up, learn from it, and move on. Sometimes some of the failures, well, as much as they grow you, it's hard to let go
Mm,
of what happened to make that failure become a reality. And I think
yeah.
sometimes for me, it's hard to let go of that and just move
Mm,
forward. And I think that's really what I've been focusing on the last probably 6 months is just saying, you know what, it happened. I need
uh-huh.
to move on from it. Everybody makes mistakes and, hindsight's always 2020, but like focusing on forward is what matters.
Absolutely. And so much growth comes from failures, or
Oh
not
my,
even failures, mishaps or missteps.
yes.
And that's when I talk to our community. It's like, first of all, don't be paralyzed by fear, because then you won't do anything. And number two, you got to go for it. And you're probably, hopefully you do fail or screw up, because that means you're trying things that aren't easy.
Being afraid, I think, is the number one thing that keeps people from getting started. And
Yeah.
I think people are afraid to mess up or screw up, but 100%, like everything that we've learned and the growth that we've had has come from previous mistakes, right? And as long as you don't focus on those mistakes, and it's hard, like I was just saying earlier, it's hard to let go of the guilt and maybe
Mm.
even the shame of how you got in that failure in the first place. But I think, like you said, focusing on the good that's come from it, every mistake that's happened has really opened our eyes to things that probably wouldn't have ever been fixed had the failure not
Hmm.
happened. So I think there's so much growth that comes in failure. And I think it's just a matter of giving yourself the grace to accept what happened, learn from it, and move forward and be better for it.
So let
Yep.
me tell everyone a little bit about your company. So SheFit is an athletic apparel company based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Woohoo, Michigan, that
Yep.
creates
Mhm.
performance gear and sports bras to deliver total control and confidence with their patented sip, cinch, and lift technology. SheFit was born from founder Sarah's desire to disrupt a 40-year-old industry. The effort led to the development of SheFit's Ultimate Sports Bra in 2009, and to date, SheFit has expanded to include a variety of sports bras, leggings, athletic shorts, tops, and skirts. Your mission is to design breakthrough gear that empowers women of all shapes, sizes, and athletic abilities to feel their best so they can be their best.
The company didn't really start in 2009. It was the idea that happened in 2009 when the birth of my first daughter came to be. The company never truly got off the ground. I mean, we were in our basement in 2016 when we were featured on Shark Tank. So we say that 2016 was really our soft launch year because just prior to that, we had just finished a Kickstarter campaign. And one of our good friends, a friend that my husband played football with in college, had just gotten on Shark Tank and had called us and said, "Hey, I left your name with the producer." And we were just like, okay, that's funny. They're never going to call us. And it was just really funny because within a couple of weeks of that, they had. And we were just in our basement. We just finished a Kickstarter campaign. We just built a website. I was, so as much as like the idea started in 2009, it took years of navigating and begging people to help me understand, how do you even bring a product to fruition? I didn't even know how to make a garment. My background is in sales. My husband and I come from sales background. I have no background in fashion or design or sewing. All my friends know I can make one hell of a Halloween costume with a hot glue gun and needle and thread, but I do not sew. So just coming up with the idea. And the idea actually was stumbled upon too. Like I wasn't starting or trying to figure out how to start a company. I had just had my first child, and then my chest got out of control, and I was wearing 2 and 3 bras at one time. And I'd always been an athlete my entire life. I grew up riding horses, track, cheerleading. I was a D1 cheerleader in college. My husband was a D1 football player, and we were both very athletic. And when I got pregnant, I was out of control. And so I was trying to solve my own problem. And I think sometimes the best solutions come out of one's desire to solve a problem. And that's really how SheFit came to be. So from like 2009 to 2016, I was working 2 jobs and carting the kids and begging friends who had resources. Like a girlfriend owned a dance studio and she let me use a seamstress. We had a friend that we had met that was a mentor that owned a fabric company. And so they were just kind of all giving me mentorship on how to get a product off the ground. So it really took from 2009 to 2016 to have 2015 really, when we did Kickstarter, to have a workable product that we actually could make in somewhat of mass production, 200 runs at a time. And then Shark Tank happened. So
that's crazy,
run.
Sarah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lesson in there too, to think that most people only see what they see now, right? They don't see like the dreaming, the planting the seeds of possibilities, the sort of staying up at night, tossing and turning and like thinking. Those are the fun things. And those are the years that, no one talks about Jeff Bezos in the basement, like packing books up.
No,
they just see Amazon delivery, the Prime delivery, right?
It's so funny you say that, because I have to sometimes sit back and sit down and say, okay, Sarah, like I never thought the company would even reach $1 million. I know when my dad had said, if someone ever offers you $1 million, you need to take it, when we had gotten started, because we couldn't even raise money. We weren't even bankable. I mean, my husband and I have bootstrapped the entire company to date. Right now, we own 100% of the company, and we're just now getting ready to raise and bring other people in. And so we've forgoed, large salaries to bring larger salary needed people on board. We've always rolled all the resources right, or, the revenue right back into the company. And so even now, now the company is rocking. And I would say the last 5 years have been just incredible, to have 5 consecutive years on the Inc. Fastest growing 100 to 500 companies. I mean, it's virtually impossible to make that list 2 times in a row, let alone 5 times in a row. And so, I have to pinch myself and remember how we did start. Because you're right, Monica. So many people think that, they saw us on Shark Tank, and yes, we made a deal. We're not allowed to talk about what happened after the show, but our deal really never did end up coming to fruition. But we never ended up getting that money, never did any of that stuff. And there still was that time from 2009 to 2015 of getting a product off the ground, working in your basement and literally begging people to work for you, because, you needed people to come work for you, but who wants to come work in someone's basement, when nothing's ever guaranteed. And so the team really was mighty and small for some time. And we were even in our basement, even up until after Shark Tank. We didn't really move out of our basement until 2018. And then from 2018 to 2020, we moved 3 times because the growth of the company was so big. Yeah. So there's been a lot in between. Yeah. And my husband and I, up until that point, and even now, still ran the company together.
Let's back it up here. You're running an empire. I'm going to call it an empire. You're raising 4 kick-ass women. You're clearly working out. You look amazing because it's important to you. You are committed to 20 years of marriage. That takes work. It doesn't just happen, people.
Yeah.
So how the heck, girl, do you make time for all of it? For all the women listening, like, how do you balance all that? That's a massive question.
Yeah.
People really have a hard time with.
Oh, I think I struggle with balance all the time, even though I'm always the first one to say you have to have balance in your life. Like, I wish that I could say that work wasn't 24/7, but it is right now for us. And, every conversation around the dinner table somewhat involves SheFit. But it's just a matter of prioritizing. I think you have to say no to a lot of things. I'm a yes person. I like to say yes to everything and everyone. And I've been really working on that, because you can't do that. Unfortunately, you just can't, or else all your priorities, just end up falling to the wayside. And that's always what's happened for me. It's also, I've never had, up until a couple years ago, we've always had, I wouldn't say a ton of employees, but there was a point we touched almost 70 employees. Even 40 employees is a lot. And I worry about each and every one of them like a child. At the end of the day, like if the lights don't stay on, it's on me. And so those things go to bed with me as well. And so I think it's just a matter of prioritizing and recognizing the things that are most important, and then finding ways of saying no and being very cautious and careful with what you do say yes to, and identifying your values. What are the values? What's the purpose? Because at the end of the day, when you combine the immediacy of purpose with the rise of a priority, then that's when those priorities do start to evolve. And if you're giving time to a non-priority, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And I've been really working on those priorities and what those are. And if they don't fall within that list, then I got to check them off, and I just have to cross them off and recognize that it's okay to say no and not get to them.
And I read somewhere that you are someone of faith.
Yeah.
And is that something that is sort of an anchor for you, and as far as a non-negotiable?
Absolutely. Like my non-negotiables are like honor my body. Like if I don't start off the day by working out, and I have to do it in the morning, because if I don't do it in the morning, the day happens, and that is an absolute must for me. Like I will only pass up the gym unless I'm sick. So that is so important. I think about what I need to do. I take the frustrations out from the day before, I lay them at his feet, as you will. The prayer time in the morning, my body time in the morning, I end the evenings with just gratitude and thanks, the same way I start the morning. So prayer for me is in the morning and at night. I also feel like by going to bed at night and praying on the things I need to focus on, that gives me some clarity come morning. And, I take some time in the evening after I'm done with my prayers to pray for my husband, pray for my family, pray for my company and my employees. But then I really take some time to be thankful for the community and the company that we have. And I read hashtags, because I love reading what people are posting and saying every day, because that makes me better. It also helps me understand the consumer better. And it reminds me that we really do have a product that's empowering and changing lives. And so those are just two to three of my non-negotiables, if you will. But everything for me is anchored in that word, and resting and knowing, that you have to have trust in him. And if you don't, that's okay. Someone may have a different religion, but that's just what works for me and my family. And that's really what we focus on, for sure.
Why, like your personal why, Sara? Like why you do like what you just mentioned, you rattled off all these things that you do on a daily basis: Uber driver and I with your kiddos, a competition, running a business, losing sleep over making sure that, you like that, make sure everyone gets payroll, and that you're can fulfill all the orders, and supplier and consumer, and you're reading hashtags. I mean, it's like, whoo, it's a tornado,
yeah,
right? It's a lot.
Yeah.
Why? What drives you?
It's funny. Those are one of the things, like if you look at, what are the things that you need to prioritize to be successful, it has to be, and then non-negotiables, right? Like I feel like purpose falls on both lists. You have to know your purpose. You have to know your why. It's what I tell the girls is it's your inner compass. It's like the Holy Spirit, right? If you don't have this inner fire to just, your gut doesn't just like get so excited and hurt because when you're having a bad day, which bad days are way more than the good, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur, bad days are way more than the good. There has to be a reason that you keep getting up every single day and coming back. And I believe that there's a faith element to that too. Like God opens the doors, he provides the path. It's whether you decide to walk through it and listen. But at the end of the day, there is this purpose why inside of you. And if your gut doesn't just yearn for it and be so excited about it, then your inner compass is off, and it's not what you should be doing. So I always tell everyone, the first thing you need to do when you start a business is just really know that you love it and this is what you want to do, because it's so difficult and every single day comes with challenges. And if you don't have that purpose fire inside you to keep going and not throw in the towel, then you will throw in the towel and you will walk away. And so I also believe that there's a faith element in the purpose, right? God has a destiny for everyone. Everyone's born for something. He puts those gifts inside everyone. And I just believe that this is part of my gift. And it is really changing the lives of women and girls everywhere. This product, being physically active, whether you're an athlete or you're working out 1 day a week or you're working out
Mhm.
5 days a week like myself, you could be to the extreme or you could be at, an intermediate
Yeah.
or beginner, whatever it may be. You are not going and getting physical at any of those levels without a sports bra. You're not. It is the football pads for females,
Mhm.
right? You're not getting on the football field without your helmet or your football pads. You're not going to be physical without your sports bra. Like, it is the one foundational piece of gear that we as women have. And if you think about it, it really is empowering. Like, if you put on the right, being active takes work. It is not easy to go get sweaty or go to the gym. I myself find myself sitting in the car motivating my own self, saying, you can do this, to walk into the gym every day. It's not easy. So we should have gear that rises to that occasion, that makes us feel beautiful or confident or sexy or strong, because doing something physical is difficult. So make me feel good, and then make me feel like, holy cow, I can conquer anything. And that's what this product does for women. If you just read some of the reviews, you'll see what they say. And that is, I believe, what God's put inside me. And I just can't stop until every woman and girl is in control and has the fit and support that she deserves to be able to go and accomplish the things that she knows she's capable of. Like I said, every woman wears a sports bra. So I don't care if you're once a week, 5 days a week, an athlete, or whatever you are, you're wearing a sports bra. And we have drawers of bras, sports bras, because they all suck and none of them work. Yet
True.
we still keep throwing them in. And I always say, I think we as women have been
Uh-huh.
conditioned to believe that it's as good as it's going to get, because we've been let down so much. And we did a study. Well, we had a third party vendor do a study for us, and we found out that 9 out of 10 women do not have a sports bra that they love. Like they're loyal to shoes and leggings, and they're loyal to other things, but but yeah, but there's not a sports bra that they're loyal to. But if you talk to anyone in the SheFit Nation, they will tell you SheFit has changed their life, and it really has. And it's not just women, it's girls. I mean, we've got girls, as girls are girls are just maturing at such a faster rate than they ever did before. It's nothing to go to a middle school track meet or a middle school soccer game and see girls and not even bouncing uncontrollably. Like, we're talking C cups, And so you put a sports bra on a girl and it changes her entire perspective when it works. Girls are falling out of sport at such an alarming age, and the statistics are because they are embarrassed of their breasts. And it's sad, because you think about the stuff that sports does for a female. I mean, my gosh, sports shapes the character of who you are. Even if you just do it for a season or you do it for a couple times. I mean, most people won't even hire someone unless they can show that they were an athlete, usually in college, off of their degree, or they played high school, like some level, because it gives you this character building, that you really can't get from anything else. And so it's so important. Yet it's the last thing that women think about, or even moms for their daughters. I mean, I see some of the sports bras that my daughter's friends are wearing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you guys? They don't know, they don't know, because we've been conditioned to believe that it's as good as it's going to get. But SheFit is changing that.
Yeah, you are. I mean, you certainly are. You're really breaking down some walls. And I mean, let's face it, this is not a brand that you're going up against some giants
Oh my
of
God.
the world,
It's so funny.
right? This is not like
Yeah.
for like small play. You're going after the big boys.
I remember
I love it.
I remember when I asked my dad for money, which, by the way, my parents never gave us $1. Actually, nobody that we was close to us did. But I remember asking him for $25,000, and I remember him saying to me, and I love my dad. My dad's been great. So, like, this is not. But he was like, why do you think you can compete with like Nike and the big guys? And I was like, I don't know. I just think that we can. And I look back at how innocent that was. But I do believe that's what's gotten us to where we're at, because now we know that now they're aware of us. We know that they're aware of us. We're on the map. And I can't believe we're on the map. But we're on the map, and I couldn't have ever imagined. But because we're doing things different. SheFit is a sports bra first company. If you think of all the other competitors out there, they all lead with something different. And sports bras are an afterthought. That's why I think women are fed up and sick of bras, and why they've given up. And even when we talk to women that have purchased SheFit, and they email us or they call us or we read a review, they're like, I didn't think that this was going to work. Like, just another sports bra,
Uh
just
huh.
another marketing thing. But my gosh, like, this has changed my life. One of my favorite quotes is, we always ask what size they are, like what's
Yeah.
your cup size. And one of my favorite quotes comes from a girl that was a B cup, and she said, I didn't know I bounced until I didn't bounce anymore. And that's a B cup,
Mm.
because you don't know what it feels like. If you can shed, a tenth of a second off of a time, or you can go a little bit longer in a run, or you
Mm.
can jump just a little bit higher, that kind of advantage, or even in a daily workout, like, even in a daily workout, if you can just go a
Yeah.
little bit harder, that's what this does for you. This puts you in control.
I love that it sounds like you're just very thoughtful and mindful with all your marketing, and even the way that the choice of words you use in your copy. And I think that speaks of your mindfulness of what it is that we are all individuals, and we're all having a different journey. And so that being sensitive to that, I think it's very responsible of you. And I appreciate that as a woman myself,
Yeah.
that's important to me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. It's important to me
Yeah.
too. Like, I was the one struggling. Like, I couldn't find what I needed. I'm
Yeah.
busty, but I had a smaller rib, and to wear 2 and 3 bras, is just ridiculous. And then to have to tie it off with a rubber band to get the fit you need, and I knew I wasn't the only one. And we're seeing that, it's actually
Yeah.
opening our eyes to a lot more that we didn't see. But SheFit truly was born out of this desire to change what wasn't working. And again, I think that comes back to when you're thinking about what is your fire, what is your purpose. Think about what isn't working for you. What is it in your life that you wish could be different, or a product that you use, or something that you use, or a food, whatever it may be, every day. But gosh, if it could be this, or if and so I just go back to why we exist, and that's why we exist. And the industry hasn't changed in 43 years. The sports bras are all the same. It's because most of them are designed by men, and they're launched by companies that are not sports bra first. And so that's what I think is really helping us set apart, is that we are different. When people see the ads, or when they see it, they're like, what is that? That's so different. We are different. You can't expect, nobody's using the same cell phone from 42 years ago, like braces, like everything. Why are we still, and it's crazy, we still are, but so many women are still reluctant to try something new. They're so reluctant to pull the trigger. And yes, it's not cheap. It's a $70 sports bra, an entry level sports bra for $70. Not cheap. But my gosh, we have no problem, spending $70 to upgrade this or upgrade that. I think, again, she's just been so let down that she's like, that's not
Yeah.
gonna work for me. That's not going to work for me. But my gosh, if you give it a try, it literally is life changing. Literally life changing.
So we're going to include all your links and social handles on our show notes so people know where to find you. You have proclaimed over and over that you're not stopping until every woman and girl has the fit and support she deserves.
That's right.
Sara, I believe you. I see you and I feel you, and I'm here for it. I'm very excited for you. Thanks so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you.
Thank you,
Really,
Monica.
such a bright light.
Thank you.